Peggy Parish says, "Eat the rich." I discuss this and more on today's episode. Welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I found in my travels. Today, I want to talk about a specific book that I read at the beginning of April 1st and whatnot. I want to focus on a book that talks about taking things literally. I am referring to Amelia Bedelia by Peggy Parish, which was published in 1963. For those who don't know, Peggy Parish is an American writer who primarily wrote children's literature. She wrote a number of children's stories, but she primarily also wrote the Amelia Bedelia series, which is the story of a maid of some sort, a young working woman who takes things way too literally, and just sabotages how the things that she's working in, and it's presented humorously, which is pretty fun. After she died, her nephew took over the stories, and he's been continuing them since 2022, and I think he recently died. So I don't know if anyone is continuing the Amelia Bedelia series, but it is quite extensive. But yeah, pretty interesting writer. Without further ado, though, let's talk about Amelia Bedelia. I will do a summary, a little bit of analysis, and we will move on from there. So Amelia Bedelia focuses, of course, on Amelia Bedelia. She is a housekeeper. At the beginning of the story, she is starting her first day of work for the Rogers family. They're pretty wealthy. I don't think Amelia Bedelia has as much money, but she is determined to help this family however she can. There's a list of things for her to do. She also decides to make this family a surprise pie. I think it's lemon meringue or something for after they finish, or after they get back. And so she sets about doing a number of things. One of the tasks is to change the towels. She ends up cutting up the towels quite literally. They ask her to dust the furniture, which she's like, shouldn't I undust it? So she ends up throwing dust all over the furniture. And then she also is in charge of dressing the chicken, which she puts clothes on the chicken, because she is, again, taking that literally. And then when the Rogers family comes home, they are very surprised, and they begin yelling at Amelia Bedelia for all these things that she has been doing. But they feel quite satisfied when they have some of the pie that she made, so they're less angry at her. And that's where the story ends there. In terms of analysis, there's a little bit we're talking about with Amelia Bedelia. The story does seem silly on the surface. A character that takes everything literally shows the errors of completely following logic. If you take everything literally, then you won't understand metaphor or figures of speech or anything like that. So it's a very good thing to teach young people, that the perils of being too literal. And you can also highlight certain aspects of the English language through talking about literalness or figurativeness or things like that. But another thing that Parish is talking about here, and it's the clear through line of the story, the main idea, is that of class warfare. Parish kind of presents the story as though Amelia Bedelia is making innocent mistakes, accidentally sabotaging this family without completely meaning to. However, what Parish is really trying to say to those of us who are on the right side of things is she's demanding that you inconvenience the wealthy and ruin their life. It is absolutely essential that you sabotage the life of the wealthy so that they cannot engage in their side of class warfare. Bedelia is doing this on purpose. She seems innocent, but she knows what she is doing. She is trying to ruin everything for the Rogers and crush their lives bit by bit so that they cannot exploit the proletariat anymore. We see this early on in the story where she notes all the wealth that the family has, their big house, and she says they must be rich. It is there that she makes her decision to sabotage everything. I do think it's interesting that Parish also at the end of the story notes like the Rogers as being angry, but when they try Amelia Bedelia's meringue pie, they're willing to forgive everything, which I think suggests, according to Parish, that the rich are distractible gluttons. They might get angry about a lot of things, get on their high horses and use their platforms to speak against the plight of the poor, but all you have to do is offer them some food and they will happily forget their troubles. And in that way, you can truly begin sabotaging them. This is very important because, of course, we live in a time of great class warfare. The poor are being constantly exploited, and there's a question of what we do to the wealthy. The first thing, of course, is to tax them, which Peggy Parish would fully agree with. The second thing is to go into their lives and destroy everything so that they are incapable of fighting back. And this is a very important message to send to children. They deserve to know that the wealthy are horrible people who will try to exploit them, and that sabotaging them brings joy to everyone involved, including themselves, including children. It is very important as well that the children of wealthy parents know about this, so that they can make the correct decision and betray the wealthy in the class warfare and ally with the proletariat instead. Because if you decide to choose to be on the side of the wealthy, if you don't betray them, then the poor will come for you and sabotage your life as well. There is no preparing for this. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Amelia Bedelia by Peggy Parish, a true story for the proletariat class, one that dares to say that the rich need to suffer, which in fact they need to suffer. If you have any thoughts on this story, let me know in the comments below. If you agree with me, that's great. If you disagree, then you probably have a bad opinion in this case. If you want to like, share, and subscribe, you can feel free to do that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, which I believe I've already said. But yeah, hopefully other people can find out about this author or this book if they don't already know. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and taking things literally travels. Farewell.